I made the decision that I'm going to need to take out this speedometer and the dash to get to some wires I need to solder, and it's probably not going to hurt to have that dash out because almost every light bulb in it's got to be replaced. So I might as well just bite the bullet. It's going to set me back on my timeline here, but that's the way it goes. I think it starts with some bolts, some screws coming out of here, 2, 3, 4. Then there's probably some screws up in here, and we'll see how that goes. I'll give you an update when I got it. The dash is a little bit hard to get apart in that when you pull this piece out here, it binds up on here. So I use the two-hand method of pulling up on this, even though I've got all the screws off of this. Pull up on the edge here where you pull this out, and you see up in here it comes along there. So I pull this up and that gets the thing out. All the wires from the back are disconnected. Couldn't get one over there, but I think it'll come out with it still connected. So I'm going to walk this across, pulling it up there. It is a bit difficult. It is very tight. Got to be careful you don't break it. Alright, so I got the ashtray out. That's it right there. And inside here you have these two wires. The ashtray is the orange one going to that 3-prong plug, and then you have these two bare wires there going to that one, and that one over there, just 3 wires hanging. 3 wires hanging, 2 wires hanging there. I think most of these are stereo related, would be my guess. They're over here right under the stereo and speaker. So I'm going to take off this this one right here, because that's the ashtray. Looks like there's 3 prongs in there, but only 1 are being used. So it must be, you could have some extra power over here if you needed it. Okay, dash cluster's out. Dash cluster comes out fairly easily. There are just 6 screws, 4 across here, and 2 across the top. Plus then you have to reach seat it right in there, right there. That's your speedometer. Disconnect that, and there's one last piece. It's that round body clip. There it is right here. So just pull it straight back. One thing about that is if you take a look at it, not all of the holes have a wire in it. If one wire falls out, then you might have an issue of where it goes back in. So be careful not to lose where the wires go in this little pin. I had one fall out, and I was lucky enough to be able to determine that it came out of a spot down towards the bottom. But if those wires got mixed up, I think you'd be in a lot of trouble. If you're wondering, right here's the 2 wires I really took the whole thing apart to repair. As you can see, they're messed up. These are the old alternator wires, and as you can see, they're pretty torn up. Can't base out. Hope here's my gauge as I'm delivering it to Redline Gauges. All the lights are new. All have been replaced. Everything works on it. There's no pin problems, no scratches on it. This is the new tack over here, brand new. Speedometer works. Here's the switches and the gauges about ready to go back in. Here's the vinyl cover. The switches fit inside here. You can see there's a C shape here, one here, one over here, and there's just 3 right there. But if I roll it down here, so this would be the right side, passenger side, there'll be 1, 2, 3 of these bolts. They're not really bolts. They get little wing nuts sort of things. So there's 2 over on this side, 1 to the left of the key switch, 2 to the right of the key switch, and 3 on the far end. And then of course you got 1, 2 in your C shape. Okay, I'm going to put this in first, followed by that. Okay, I got my dash cluster back and I'm starting to reassemble it. So you just basically have screws. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 up top to put the cluster in. What they did for me on this was they swapped this from an alternator light to a voltage regulator. Now when it's straight up and down, it's 12. So it'll still say alternator, but it's a voltage. And the voltage, there's no wires coming off the back of it. It's built into the gauge. It's powered by the gauge. Got my gauges, if you look at them, they're not all exactly the same color, but that's all right with me. They also rebuilt the speedometer part, but I didn't want them to like make it perfect. So you can tell the colors are not perfect on the gauges and stuff, but that's all right. So now I'll continue assembling this. There's a harness in the back I put together. I'm going to put in the speedo cable and then put the front panel back on, and we should be good. I'm going to show you where the hard screws are to find and to remove for this blue dash pad. Now the dash pad is set up in there with the 3 primary screws. The nuts that aren't in there yet, but there's one right here. It's right up here in this corner. I'll get close on it. See it? And then there's those 2 there and over there. There's 2 over there. Each side of the instrument cluster, each side of the column. So when that bar is in here that has the switches on it, those are hard to get to, but I think probably help you to remove everything if you can reach around that black metal switch bar with a screwdriver and loosen these up, and maybe the whole thing will come out for you. Of course, you've got to get all the nuts off of each side too. One of the things I did to keep track of all my screws was, as I took them out, I wrote them down where they're from. So right now I'm working on these long silver upper dash screws. I put 2 in and I got to do 4 more to go. So I just label them on a piece of cardboard, keep track of them. All right, just buttoning the console up. Still have to put a piece of plastic that goes around here. This is secured down with all the bolts and the screws. Still need to, up on top up here, there's a piece that goes here. There's a bezel that goes here. On this side, there's a piece of plastic that goes here with 1 screw here and 1 screw up here. This piece here has just 1 screw there. I ended up with a gap. I don't know how that worked out. But then there's 1 piece here with 2 screws. So all in all, it's not too bad. There's your 150 mile an hour GTX speedometer. Can't base out.